All right, where are we? Well, they got, of course, they have a new tournament. It got announced. The Players. We're still in the South Sands 9-hole Cup, but we do have the Players in here now, so we can practice. I'm not sure. Let's see. What are these holes? Let's look at them. Maybe. Here we go. What course is this? This is at Sawgrass, TPC Sawgrass. I have limited time. How many tournaments has this been in? It's only been in few. I don't know if I can remember them by looking at the pictures. So we'll just have to go play them. It does seem like from Ricky though that we should be able to get on. It seemed like these courses that they've patterned after real life courses are pretty short. But maybe that's just from the Ricky tees. And I haven't played them from the expert or the pro tees. I think I did play this from the pro tees. Maybe. I think Denner and I shot a video where we went out and we did like the first time they came out, we went out and played them. Didn't know anything about them and just went out and roughed them out. Let's see what bag I got here. Let's take that bag. And we'll play this tournament sponsored by Titan. Like every tournament. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Par 4. I have no idea what... obviously, when you're playing these, for me, par 4s are the key to success. They'll set you up. Like you may still get in those tournaments where you have to get an Albie or you have to get a hole-in-one. You know, you've got some holes, but the way you set yourself up for success is on the par 4s. And anytime you're playing them, like trying to figure out how you can get on in one so that you're just taking a short putt or a short pitch. We'll see. We'll see if we can do this, or if it takes a bigger power ball. Man, that is going to be a mile away from the Masters tees. But then again, if they've got a tailwind with their 19 mile an hour wind, it could help them out. Bringing out a bigger power ball on these types of holes. If the only thing that's separating you from getting up there and getting right off the green is a power 5 ball, you have to understand that there's going to be too many people in your bracket that are going to be willing to bring out the power 5 ball. And here you might just need to bring out... You could probably do it with a power 5 and not have to do any overpower. That's the deal. I think that's too much topspin. That looks about right. 2.6. It's 1.3 per ring, so 2 rings is 1.6 or 2.6, excuse me. 1 ring, 75 rings, great to the left. That'll put me in the rough down here, like on this bounce. Wow, I can't believe I squeaked through that. And I didn't need to take that topspin off. Would have got me closer. Yes, it's an APOC 7, but the only difference between it and your extra mile 9 is the 4 yards of raw distance. Still got 85 topspin. The big difference for me is I like curl. I don't like curl on the shot going to the cup, but I definitely like curl on the drive shots. We'll see where we're at. It looks pretty flat to it, so I'm just going to take a straight up shot. It might be slightly uphill, but yeah, there's max. There's mid. It's 3.9 divided by 2.4. 1.62 rings. Okay, there's 1.5. There's 1.62. And I hit it great to the left. And it will just slip right by the side. That was a straight up shot at club. Well, we don't know because I didn't hit it perfect, but from that distance with the rapier, if you don't hit it, it's usually half the cup outside. So that's right about right. And I did take that top spin off, and I could have got a little closer. It looked like it was going to, if I got it, it was going to go long if I left all the top spin on. Bringing out a bigger power ball there, you wouldn't have to do any of the overpower. So, and if you've got lower developed stuff, you could bring out a bigger power ball and then bring out a big topper, which obviously is going to pull your red line back, but with the bigger power ball, you could get into that same spot and then you'd have access to more top-spin. But getting up there and either getting on or getting right off here so you have a really short chip, that's going to be the deal. And if you've got a maxed out or upper level extra mile, getting on this side of the line here and bringing out a bigger power ball, I think we'll have no problems getting right off. And this is going to be a hole that we'll have to get an eagle on. So our minimum score is always you to start every round off at -12. And that hole right there is going to be a must get. It seemed to me that on this hole there might have been a rough bump in here. Let's check it out. But if there is, we're definitely going to need a ball with a bunch of side spin. Otherwise, we're going to have to go straight at it. Let's set the ball up first just so I can... I'm not worried about going out and timing out today. I may take a Goliath as well for topspin. We'll see. We'll see what our options are. I literally don't... I remember the holes when I'm out there, but I don't remember how we were playing some of them. Huvaldi. Maybe. I'm always amazed at the people I see that have played like 8,000 games and they're still got the guest account. They haven't taken the time to actually give their account a name. And if there is a rough bump over here on this side, if there is a rough bump here, it might have to be right there in order to get that, because I think this is too far. I don't know. Even with a 4 or 5 side spin ball, I don't know if there's enough to bring you back around. And it seems like that little rough area right there might be too far away even for a Goliath. We'll see. We'll see how my opponent does. Don't go in. Excellent. That way I could time out if I need to on the first shot so we can figure out what we want to do. I'm just amazed at how many people don't practice during the practice session. Can we get that there? That fucking +5 is like right in my way. It's always nice of them to put stuff in our way. It's helpful. Thank you, Playdemic. How many different angles do I need to get here? Right there. 3 side spin and a half of left. That leaves me a little short, but it does look like it might roll out right there. 3, and I'm like a ring and a half away. +6 mark. +6. 1.5 rings off. The transition between this area right here. Half a backspin. Now, if you see somebody out there and they're doing that, I'm just amazed that everybody treats practice like it's one-on-one. I'm just totally like, I don't see anybody out there practicing. Everybody's just treating it like it's one-on-one. 3.3. Where am I at in club? I'm right at max. 3.3. Divided by, we'll just do the full pull, 3.3 rings. There's 3. Puts me a little bit into power. Obviously, a Kingmaker would be better. I would have switched to a Kingmaker if my opponent would have. I guess there is a shot there, but a Kingmaker is definitely going to be the ball. That way, you got some room on the head. You can get that done. Have you ever seen anybody out there who's practicing? I haven't, other than like me and Dunner, or I've practiced a couple times with some other teammates. Nobody goes out there and is like trying to look at the shot or do it. And I'm just amazed that they're out practicing with a Marlin on a straight up shot where I just don't get it. People treating it's practice, and they've bought into the whole deal of like, we have to practice because it's, we have to play it just like it's one-on-one. You're not going to win anything, and you paid to get in there. Why? What's the problem? This is another one of those holes that I'm not sure. Let's go look at it. I can't remember if we can start off. We must be able to start off over here. Is this a par 4 or par 5? It's a par 5, so probably, maybe not. Maybe we're starting off on this side. I don't know. I can't remember. So we'll just go practice it. We'll take it tight. We'll take a Titan. Yeah, in that other situation, I should have when I went out there the first time. I wasn't even paying attention to the red line. I was looking to see if I could get the angle on it. And I shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda switched it to a Kingmaker. I don't like that wind direction on that last hole where I had to pull over the sand. If you go back and rewind the video, you can see that my blue ring was already getting distorted. I'm going to go, there's 3. What I'm trying to look for here is this angle to go up. How much room do I need to give myself here so that if I apply maximum curl, I'll be right down the center of the fairway. So, like, there's 3 rings, and that looks a little tight to me. I'm gonna do 3.5 rings, and then 4-3 divided by 1.3. Just a straight up shot, 3-3, and there's 3-3. One ring great to the right. Right down the center. Topspin boost ball would help. I have to go back and watch the video as far as the landing area down there, because I think, and you can see where their red line's at right here with a 5 power ball. I'm not sure if you could get over into that area. If you had a tailwind, that might be possible, where you could actually catch it here and then just run forward. But from where we're at down here on the bottom, a 5 power ball with topspin boost might make it so that you don't have to do any overpower. Just make sure you leave yourself enough room for your curl to become effective. I like to set those shot ups. I call them blind curl shots because you need to have it set up. You need to have it in your mind like what you're going to do. I'm going to take this shot straight up. It's 1.1 per ring, so 3.1 divided by 1.1. It's 2.81 rings. Couple back spin. How far can I get? Nah, I'm going to have to take some of that spin and change it around. .81 rings. There's 281 exactly. Hitting it perfect. Perfecto. That was just a straight up shot at club. So maybe if I'd have did 10%, it was 2.81. That looks like it's about 0.1, 0.2 off. So 1.1 times would have been 3.1 plus 5%, 0.5. I think maybe a 5% plus 5. That would have put me at 2.95. And in that situation, I probably would have just did a perfect 3. That drive shot, though, getting that right down the center of the fairway so that you can just run out however much topspin you've got on your club. That's another one of those shots where if you don't have really upper developed clubs, you can bring out a bigger power ball and you can use your big topper. The bigger power ball will make up for the lack of yardage, and then the big topper has lots of curl. It has APOC curl, and it has 100 topspin. Let's look at that. Let's look at that hole. So maybe with a tailwind and a 5 power ball, you might be able to get over into this area. I think if there was any side wind or headwind, I'm not sure you could get over. But getting down into this area right here, and let's see where the tee box is. You see that if we draw a line down into this area, we're skirting this tree. So if we're here and we're skirting this tree going out like this, we're trying to, from where our landing spot is, cover this angle right down the middle. So how much separation do we have to leave out here so that when we apply max curl, and I like to set those shots up with max curl, because when you start doing, well, I'm going to do 3/4 curl. Maybe this time you did 3/4, and the next time you do 7/8, and then you're over here in the rough where it bleeds out into the rough, or you do 5/8 or a half instead of 3/4, and you end up where it came through here fine. First bounce was fine, second bounce was fine, and then it tailed off into the rough. Getting up here really close where that tree could be in your way, wanting your shot to not only bleed through the fairway, but either get to the point where it clears the tree and you got a straight up shot, or staying as far to the right as possible so that you can get around that tree without having to use any curl. We got options, but we can definitely get up there to give ourselves a great opportunity. Tommy's got it at +0 for the second shot. I think that's really going to just depend. What is this? This is a par 4. Can we get on a one here, or are we laying it up? This might be one of those ones where we're just laying it up. It's hard. It's always hard at the very end of the run. Like, you have the most access to what you're wanting to do when you're in this range. But when we get all the way down here to the end and you got to bridge a river or a pond, that's not always the easiest thing to do. But we'll see. I can't remember how far up there we can get. I don't think we can get all the way up there. I don't. Maybe. Doubtful. I don't know how many Players Championships we've had. We've had a few over the years. Some of these we didn't have majors when the game first came out. I don't think I need anything special if I can't. Let's look at it again. Let's look at it. With the wall that's over there, trying to clear the... Not only do you have to get over to the other side, it's one thing when you're going over to the other side and you can kind of clear it. If you hit the sand, I think just sitting out right into that area right there, I'll just tap it out there so we can see what it looks like. Now you might be able to eke forward a little bit more distance and try and engage this rough so that you bleed out right here onto the tip and take that shot. If I remember correctly, that we were doing some of that where we were trying to get our bounces through here and then just bleed off the hill down onto the other side, and it worked out most of the time. And you do have a really killer shot from down there. We'll see what kind of shot we have from here. This type of wall, though, like if you had the beach where you could get stuck in the sand, but that kind of wall right there, you either clear it or you're in a world of shit. Okay, there's max Kingfisher. There's min. So I'm at mid Kingfisher, which is, I played at 1.6 at mid. I'm just going to do a straight up shot. We'll see. 3.7 divided by 1.6. 2.31 rings. There's 2.5, or 2.25. There's 231. Exactly. Oh, and then that was a great to the right. Exactly. It might have been that Kingfisher, especially when you get into there, that just straight up, I would have loved to have seen what that looked like perfect. It might have smoked it on the other side where it's just a one to, it's just wherever you're at in your club, minus 0.1, or, and it may just be 0. I would have liked to have seen that perfect. That had definite possibilities, and there's not, that's not a lot of effort to get down into that area. If I brought out a bigger ball, I could have pushed it into minimum club instead of mid. But I kind of like mid because if you've got a big tailwind, or if you've got room for adjustment for wind, and you can use a smaller ball on it. Nav would probably work. In the hole, birdie. Cazelle Empire. There we go. Birdie. It's a draw. All right, what do we have? Hole number 5. What is hole number 5? I don't remember. Is this a par 5? It is a par 5. Are we just hitting down here? Let's look at this. Are we just hitting down into this area? I can't remember. Where's our tee box? That must be the deal, because there ain't no way we're getting over there. Not unless we were trying to get over into here and trying to bring it around this way. Let's go look at it. I can't remember. Let's take our time and let's look at and see what our options are and see if there is any way to get over to the other side. There probably is, and you're all like, dude, there's like 70 ways to get over to the other side. If somebody showed me even they show me a freaking Milano hole or some hole that's been in the game since the game started, I doubt that. There are a few of them that I could get just because of like the Oasis and the white sand and the stuff that's on there. The Oasis holes are pretty easy to say that they're Oasis, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what hole it is. And there's a few holes, what is it, Sakura Hills, with the flowering cherries. I could probably get that one right. There is just no way. Well, let's switch up to a bigger ball. Let's see what a power 3 can get me. You can see where my second bounce is out there. If I tried to split this angle to try and get over to the other side, it's not gonna happen. Let's switch this to power. Let's bring out a power 5 ball and see, like, where does that put me? Well, that shit, that might. And that's still a big angle to make up going this on this angle. This angle right here, that seems pretty big. Pretty big. All we need is a power 9 ball so that we can get out into this area. We can get out into here and then bring it around. I just wonder what the max overpower hook, if you can get over to the other side. The deal is you probably could, if everything went your way. I'm not sure. The deal is if you took that shot 100 times, how many times would you actually make it if you were trying to get over to the other side with variable wind? But it might not be worth the effort. Maybe. Hey, I don't want that ball. Swap the ball out. And we'll just play this with a... I don't know that we need anything more than a katana. Well... That's 5 topspin. That gives me 2 rings of separation. It's 1.3, 2.6. I'm going to do 2.5 rings. I'm just going to take a straight up shot. And a little teeny bit of left hand curl just to bring me back over where my opponent's at. It helps if you hit it perfect. Into the range. I think you could get over to the other side. I'm gonna go back and play this hole. We'll go out there with a Titan and we'll see if we can, like, how short we are or where we're at. I'll play this hole again because there may be. We'll go look at it because there might be like a max overpower hook or something you can do over there. Two rings. We shall see. If you were coming at it from this angle from over here, you got a little bit more run up to the ball or to the hole. You wouldn't need as much backspin. If you got newer clubs, backspin's big. Where am I at? I'm at max. 2.3 divided by 1.1. It's 2.1 rings. I'm just going to take it straight up. Although it looks like I'm a little uphill. This might be an overpull. 2.1. Hitting it perfect. In the hole! Eagle! Eagle! All right. That. Oh, I timed out on the first. Did I time out on the first shot? I think I did time out. Is that a par 5? It's got to be a par 5. So that would have been an Albie. I'm just not sure that it's worth the effort to try and get over there. Now, if you wanted to do because you're not going to get out into the plane with the tree. So like if you were out in this area trying to bring it around and you did a hook, it doesn't look like, at least here, these trees might come into play, but I'm not sure you could just get out into a good spot over there as opposed to just taking that shot. It might not, I mean, I'm not saying you can't get over here, but I'm saying it might not be worth the effort as opposed to working on this, because this down here, you can get in the same spot pretty much every round. And if you're in the same spot every round after round, you're really going to be working on the second shot and trying to dial that in. Whereas if you tried to get over to the other side, every time you're going to be in a slightly different spot, and it's not going to, you're not going to be as consistent even though you're closer. No, I think just the straight up is probably the way to go. Is that right? Let's practice it one more time. We'll go do it. I'll go do it just to see, just to get it out of my system. Sometimes you want to take stupid shots like this and try some weird stuff just so that you can get it out of your system, because this is one of the reasons why I don't ever look at the scores, especially in the weekend round. I don't ever know what the people at the top have shot. It's not as big a deal in the qualifying round or the opening round, but in the weekend round, I don't want to know. I just want to start my round and play the shots that I've been practicing all the week and playing, and that I have numbers for, and stick to the game plan and play my game. And if I win, I win. And if I don't, I don't. But sometimes you'll get into a round and you're like, man, I really need to take a shot, and I'm going to go for that and see if I can get up there, and it goes totally south. So by coming out in a practice round like this and taking some of those stupid ass shots, you can get it out of your system. But I just don't see with a 3 power ball, that's a 5 power ball, I just don't see with a 3 power ball cutting this angle on this angle right here. I just don't see that, even with an APOC. Not unless you do a hook. And we paid our practice tip and says, shit, let's practice. Hopefully, if it screws up really bad, we'll end up in the drink. That way we can take the same shot over again. And this would definitely be better with a 3 side spin ball, but I'm going to take a Titan because they sponsor us. Let's use a Titan. Man, those trees are definitely going to be in my way. That shit's not going to happen. Okay, there's 5. There's 15. It's 21. Let's take the wind out. Bam, right into the tree. Yeah, no max overpower hook shot there. Yep, our choices have now been laid out for us. That shot down there is the shot. Not just the shot. The shot. With a capital H. The thorn. Is this actually a person using their thorn and they're not trying to do backspin? Almost everybody I see that uses a thorn thinks it's a one-trick pony. One of the things about a thorn, it has killer ball guide, and you can run it up. There are some holes where doing the backspin is what a lot of clubs are lacking. But on a lot of the holes, just running it up to the hole and trying to put it in is the way to go at it. And almost everybody that has a thorn thinks that it's just a one-trick pony. Let's just get right back into the spot down here. We'll just lay it up. We'll lay it up down there, and we'll see if we can get our shot to the cup. I'm a little bit further back than I was the first time, but I had a katana, so I should be in about the same spot. Max Grizzly. There's max. There's min. There's mid. What is mid grizzly? Maybe 3.4 divided by 1.1, like 3.1 rings, somewhere in that neighborhood. There's 1. I left about a half a ring on there, or a half. Hitting it perfect. I liked it better the first time when I pulled back a little bit more, and I started back a little bit more, so I only had to use a couple backspin instead of when you use a lot of backspin like that. As soon as it hits the ground, the backspin takes effect, and if you've got any kind of movement to the left or the right, or if the terrain is on a hillside to the left or the right, or there's any kind of movement, it'll jerk the ball, and like if it wants to go to the right, once it hits, if you've got any backspin on there, it's going to make it go farther to the right. Maybe just running it up like I did the first time where you're only using a couple backspin. Maybe. Hole number 6. No idea. I think we were just going straight at it. We'll find out. We'll find out the easy way, the hard way. What our options are. Maybe. Oh, if I can get an opponent. I need coffee is what I need. Eaglemeister. The Eaglemeister clan. Big balls. Let's see. Max Grizzly. Min Grizzly. Mid. Let's switch that ball up. With the 3-power ball, I'm dead center mid. That is one cool thing. And let's swap that out again. I don't know. Well, we'll keep it on there. We'll see. I don't think I need any side spin. Okay, there's max. So I'm still at mid. Am I still at mid? There's max. There's min. There's mid. I'm going to do white ring off. What kind of setup does that need? It's like a little teeny bit of topspin and a sliver of side spin. Mid club. Mid. See what my opponent does. It should be 3 rings. Oh, they got a freaking... They're probably at minimum club, and they did 3 rings. Are you really going to play this hole with a berserker? Did you forget to change your ball? Are you really going to play this in the tournament with a berserker? That's possible. But when it spins around the hole 17 times and then pops out, that is not possible. Okay, white ring off. Mid club. You could probably set that up, change that spot. 3.4, 3.1 rings. There's 3, 1. Ah, I knew it. That'd have been pretty close on a perfect, but I still think I might not have pulled it enough. I would have liked to have seen that perfect. My wife bought me a new coat at the beginning of the winter, and it's super warm. It's super comfortable, but it's got side pockets on it, and the shit falls out of your pockets when you're sitting down. I like pockets that are straight up and down. I like side pockets where you can put your hands in and warm up, but I like a pocket over the top of that you can put stuff in that you're carrying around so your shit doesn't fall out of your pocket. Or a pocket inside the pocket that's straight up and down so you can put the stuff that you have in your pocket in the pocket. Something to keep it from falling out. I'm constantly digging around in the car to get the stuff that fell out that's underneath the seat. Hole number 7. What is hole number 7? Yeah, so I mean, pretty close, still in mid. White ring off, trying to run it up there. We got chances on this hole. These types of holes, I like these types of par 3s because I really prefer to try and come at a hole where you're putting on very little movement. I don't like to play where you don't have any movement, but a little teeny bit of movement and just kind of letting it float out to the hole and release. Not bad. I think we got good chances on that hole. Tommy said to do 10%, and he might be right. He might be. Is this a par 4? This is a par 4. We've got to be able to get over to the other side here. And if you look at where our bounces would be, where the tee box is at, our first bounce is going to be in this area, and between our first bounce and our second bounce is where we have a lot of control over the ball. When it gets down into this range, if you're off trajectory anywhere here, you're going to definitely feel it down here at the end. You might not feel it here. It still might hit the fairway where you want it, but we should be able to get on at one. We should. We will. And without using a freaking berserker on a par 3. I was playing a one-on-one the other day, and my opponent ended up on his first shot. They had a power 5 precision ball with some other shit. Pretty nice looking ball. I would have forfeited immediately just to get the ball. Just have one of them, just so you could have one. And they ended up in the drink. And I didn't end up in the drink. I brought out a Quasar and got on. And so they came back out with the same ball and took the shot again. They ended up in the drink again. So just for shits and giggles, I missed my putt. And like idiots, I mean, they brought the ball out again and ended up in the drink. And then I felt sorry for him, so I quit. I made it. Now this is another one of those blind curl shots where we're trying to set it up here. We're trying to give ourselves enough distance here on this angle so that we can cover this and get a run to the cup. And this to me looks like it needs to be a full 4 rings of separation. We'll pull back a little from the red line. 2.6 should be about 2 rings. And we'll just do max curl and see what happens with the Quasar. Hitting it perfect. See if those trees are in our way. With the Quasar on and one. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 rings down there. I had to pull back a little bit from the red line in order to allow for enough room to work the wind out. And you'll notice that the way that it was set up was it curved like this, and I had 4 rings of separation at this point, but when I pulled it back, I only had like maybe 3.5, but I kept that. I maintained this forward distance as far as 4 rings. If that makes any sense at all. In the hole. What kind of worried me on that shot was the trees that are over there on the right hand side. It looked like I got pretty damn close to them. So like doing a max curl shot like that. Now that was with a 1 power ball, and I could have brought out a bigger power ball, so I could have moved it forward. Depending on the ball you have, where you're setting it up in that area, it's going to, so like I'm down in this spot right here, trying to cover this angle, leaving myself 4 rings of separation so that I'm really kind of, where's the tee box? So we had out here, we got 4 rings of separation. We're off in this angle trying to cover this. If you brought out a bigger power ball, you're going to be more into this pocket. You might actually, if you brought out a big enough ball, be able to get yourself into the pocket. Where's my pen? Get yourself into this little pocket here. So if you're coming at it from this angle, you're not going to have to use as much curl to get over there. I prefer to try and set those shots up so you do max curl, but if you're in this spot, you're not going to be able to do max curl. Then you're going to have to do like half curl. Having a grid and having some kind of delineation on your grid line, on your curl line, so that you can, you know, we have the ball guide here so people can go, okay, you're going to pull the ball out so that the outside edge is on the ball, and you can kind of work that stuff. But if you've got a grid line, putting in ticks on there so that you can mark it out. It looked, when I took the shot with all that curl on it, that these trees over here could have come into play if I'd have hit it great to the right, or if you set it up down here a little bit more to the right, that these could have come into play. It worked out, but it could have gone south. That's a shot that I'd want to take a few times just to make sure. Ball choice there. Once you figure out what ball you're going to use, and then working on the shot with that ball. That's a hole right there we're going to have to get an eagle on. No two ways about it. Those 2 par 4s for sure. I think is that the last par 4? It is. I can't remember this. We obviously have a better angle here going this direction. It seemed to me like on this shot, it was just trying, if I remember correctly, it was clipping the rough and just bleeding out, and you were right here, so you had a straight up shot at it. From the expert, man, that's a stretch right there. But if you're looking at angles here, if you did a max, you know, either trying to get it out, I'm not sure where they're trying to hit to. It's hard to tell sometimes, like where you can get, because we don't have the winds. And I'm not sure if I played this a one-on-one where I even know, so we'll just go see. Bag number 5 with a Titan. If I can get an opponent. Yes, we're spinning. Fade Hill the Third. I go first. This is probably better with a bigger power ball. Coming out into that area. And I think I was doing the rough bump right there, just trying to bleed it out, especially on a headwind day. You can obviously get up there farther with a power 5 ball. I don't know that you're going to get any more room unless you clip that rough. Clipping the rough is definitely going to be the way to go. Tighten. We'll just take that shot straight up. Now the headwind is a little bit of a deal, so since we're already at our red line. Now you could just lay it up right down here at the end if you're finding yourself, if you're in this area here and 50% of the time you're finding yourself in the rough and the sand and 50% of the time you're finding yourself in the fairway. I suppose if you got the fairway shot down and if you can get to the fairway, you can make that shot every time, then it's probably worth it. That's 50% of the time you're guaranteed to make it. But there's no shame in just hitting it down there to the end and then trying to put it on the green. We'll see. Because I can tell you it's always better to be in the fairway than it is to be in the rough. Not that we can't make rough shots, but I mean, come on, we brought the clubs and we got all the stuff. Let's pull back a little from the red line. I'm at the +7 mark. Nope, I'm going to have to do overpower no matter what. That wind's not too bad. 2-8. Get a little more lined up with it. Oh, well, that's going to miss everything entirely. Entirely. Unfortunately, my opponent's not going to. Now, I know and you know that you can make that shot with your Nirvana. But do you really, did you come here to practice today to shoot that shot with your Nirvana? Or did you come here today and you're already one stroke up because I tanked the shot? Now we know we can make that. I mean, we know we have the distance to make it. Why wouldn't you just hit out to the fairway and practice the shot from where you really wanted to hit to see what that shot looks like? Well, we would only do that if we were practicing, but we're playing one-on-one, and we're not going to win anything. So it's super important that we make sure that we could get our club up there, because we really want to get right here, right? Is that where we want to get? And my opponent's not going to let me take that shot, but that's really where we wanted to get, right there. That's the shot we want. That's the shot we really want to practice, not the freaking rough shot. Now you see your opponent's practicing. Are you really going to just, yep, you're going to take that putt? Because my God, if I don't take that putt, why would I take that putt? What do you think this is, practice? And look at that, you didn't win anything. Jeez, man, you're a winner. I'm just blown away by the Golf Clash community. Do we not understand that practice, you can practice during practice? Like if you know, take a look at it. You see your opponent, take a look at it, and maybe you already have that. But why not, you know, really, if you don't have it, or maybe you're looking at the second shot and you want to see what the deal is, or what? I just do not get. Has Playdemic sold you on the fact that you can, like, the only way you can play that is to do it that way? I don't remember this hole at all, other than I think that it sucks. Like, it looks like you have lots of room here so that you could, like, start off over here on the edge and run it up, but I think it was, we had to use some considerable backspin on it. Here, let's see. I don't know. That's probably long iron. Pretty sure. It's got to be long iron. There's no way that's short iron. We'll take that just in case it is. Just in case, just so we have one bag set up with it. you got brand new stuff, keep an eye on your Kingfisher. It's really important when you've got brand, like when you first start off, do not upgrade all of your clubs until you get into like the 3 or 4 million range, where then you can catch up and you can start catching your clubs up, because there's a bunch of those clubs you're just not going to use. And some clubs, it's like, hey, I'm not going to use this club until it gets to level 3. So like saving your cheddar until you get enough cards in order to upgrade a club to the level that you're going to start using it. But clubs to like really be looking for the really a 16-mile-an-hour wind. Oh, I got it. I got out and I'm playing it in Masters. I got you. That explains the whole deal. Wasted a practice till you were all like, dude, you're going in the wrong one. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't. Okay, I'd like to be hearing her to make that, but with that wind, I'm going to get pushed way the hell back. And I hit it 7,000 rings great to the right. Well, the good news is that from that distance, I can recover. I was looking at that 16-mile-an-hour wind. I was thinking, fuck, Ricky doesn't have 16-mile-an-hour winds. Now, the thing about Masters and Expert, if you go up, is yes, there are there's different skills for working out secondary wind effect. And I mean, even those short little chips when you're right off the green that and Ricky have no, and even in Pro have very little effect on the ball. And with the Expert and Masters winds, it's big. Hold on a second. There's 10, 13. Yeah, geez. I could run it up there. I could have ran it up there. That club's got enough topspin. I could have ran it up there. But if you move up the scale and you're playing in a tournament and it's got bigger winds like that, the key thing is that you really need to go back to one-on-one and just think about playing it with a smaller ball, and instead of trying to get those massive shots that are getting up there, just trying to shoot minimum score. Just putting your ball in the fairway and just hitting it up there, and we'll just set that up and take that shot. We'll take it, and it still has a chance to go in. I see people that go out, say, like, you take players like Tommy or somebody who's really good, some other player that you've watched a video on, and they're showing you how to do these trick shots, and they're showing you how to adjust for it. When you first start playing those, if you're looking at that stuff thinking, wow, that's a lot of adjust, like a little micro, and just go out there and just try and go from fairway to green. And just shoot the minimum score. Get used to shooting the minimum score. And then once you've got the minimum down, then going out with those bigger winds and really trying to get aggressive. Some holes you can get aggressive on. It's not a big deal. But like holes like with lots of water and other shit around them, it could be there's Goliath. So unless we brought out a massive ball, we're not going to get in a short iron range. Not a chance in hell. Now maybe with a power 5 ball. Grizzly. Minimum club. And if I remember correctly, lots of backspin. And what is minimum grizzly? It's 1.4. So 3.6 divided by 1.4 is 2.57 rings. And there's 2 5s. There's 2 6. Hitting it perfect. We'll see how much more I needed to do. A little more. It looks like, when you're looking at it, and it's probably because of this where it's rolling off right here, and you're not hitting on a flat surface, so you can't just run it forward without having to do a bunch of backspin on it. But it looks like there's enough distance from the edge there to the cup that you could just run it up, and you wouldn't have to use that much backspin. But looks are deceiving. Into hole. All right, there you go. There's a look at all of the holes. There's at least 2 of those par 4s that we're going to absolutely, positively have to get on in one, or up there in one, so that we can get the eagles on them. And I'm not necessarily sure that I like this hole, but the other 2 par 3s I don't think are too bad. I think we got really good shots on them as well. I know I tried that rough bump on the one, and there's probably safer ways to go at that. Was that hole number 2? Yeah, I tried the rough bump in here, but just running it up in this area is probably not a bad deal. You can see here, sometimes when you pull way back from a hole and you're running topspin, you can find a funnel out here that funnels it to the hole. And if I remember correctly, on this hole, we were hitting it from way back. But you can see where there's a little bit of a shadow that goes around here, and that's where this is all sloping down. And so trying to be in front of that where it's on the flat, or trying to be out in this area and trying to run it up there with your topspin. If I remember correctly, we did find a funnel that was out in this area. But it does look like there was a rough bump in here, or we could just go straight at it. So we've got some options on this hole, but I do think we got a pretty good shot if we work that hole out where we could get a hole in one. The first par 4, we definitely got to get an eagle. Where's that other par 4? This par 4 here, we're going to have to do some work from distance, but we can get out into this range so that we've got a short little shot that was extremely makeable. But there's 2 of the par 4s we're going to have to get. So, I mean, that takes our minimum score from -12 to -14, just at a minimum. And then we're going to have to pick up some shots from there. So I would say 1 or 2 other shots, we're looking at 16. So we're looking at a 32-plus week in order to get up to get a banner. It's going to be one of those weeks, their weeks. All right, there you have it. That was a look at the Players Championship holes for 2024. Thanks for watching. Everybody stay safe. If you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell, do all that good stuff. And I will see you on the next one.